Hello everybody, Brad Allen back. Making a quick little intro to this video to kind of give you an idea of what I'm doing. But this template back here is a template for a left-handed Laplander sheath that I'm making for a new friend of mine, Nick Harland. If you guys seen my last video, you probably know that I've already made the carving knife sheath and stuff. But Nick's left-handed, so far I've just you can see a lot of lines here. I've been measuring and mapping, kind of decide how I want to do it. I got each piece kind of gridded out for a welt in it. Then it's folding over for a left-handed sheath, and then it's just a standard fold over kind of. We got the little D-ring up there for the fold over, which I'm going to make the belt attachment. This little bump up here is something that I've added to this. Basically what this little bump in the pattern is going to be here is when I do the fold over, I'm going to have this to where I can kind of ridge it back. That way when he pulls the Laplander out, he can use his thumb as an assistance against the leather there. So it's going to roll back just enough to where he can get his thumb on it to help ease it out of there, and it'll get nice and stiff when I get this thing all wet formed and everything. So it'll be a nice little hard spot in the sheath to grab a hold of. This center piece right here, this kind of maps out, you know, the center line of where it folds over and all that stuff, and obviously you know, lined it up here to where the main edge of the blade from the bottom side here has plenty of room to come out when it gets wet formed. Kind of took a little divot out here, that way it kind of rounds up the bottom. I'm going to bring the welt up so that it'll be stitched from this corner, and obviously I'll leave a drain hole there, and hopefully I can get room for a little tie-in spot here. That way we can put a couple holes for a lace or something to tie around his leg, or even help lock into a backpack or something. I'm also considering putting two straps around this that I'm going to tool up to make nice and pretty for him. That way it kind of also be another attachment point to like a molly system or something with the backpack. I just got to get all this part done first and see what my tooling looks like. That way I can decide where the straps go when I stitch everything in, to prevent it from covering up too much of the artwork. But Nick, this is what I got going on so far. Sorry about the delay in this, man. I'm super pressed for time, and every second that I get I'm definitely working on this stuff, bud. But I got all the gear together and I'm getting ready to put the work on it. So here's the first part. May do the cut this out and kind of see how it fits, make a mock-up, and we'll come back and we'll see how this thing folds over. Okay, so I got this cut out now and kind of mocked up. I found that I had to make just a little bit of adjustment with the welt. Instead of going all the way to the inside of where that inside blade rubs, this far side in the thickest spot, I brought the welt back just a little bit. That way when I do the tooling on the front side of this sheath, it doesn't stretch the pattern as much. So I added about, I don't know, about another 1/4 of an inch or just a little bit more down through there. So basically, oh man, Laplander will lay in there, and then it'll fold over, and then on the back side where the belt attachment is, since this is going to be the unfinished side of the leather, most people just fold it over and, you know, just kind of treat it with some you know, leather treatment to keep all that stuff smooth. I don't know the pronunciation of the stuff. It's like tangium gum or something. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another patch to go over this finished side leather that's going to go over the top when I stitch this in. I'm going to stitch all this in one run, and then when I come down to lay it over the sheath, I'm going to glue it down, and then I'm going to drill out them holes, and then I'm going to finish up my stitching. That way it holds the patch on and stitches the fold over in one run, keeping everything flush. And I'm going to try to tool something down through there, maybe put Nick's initials on this part. That way he doesn't have to look at unfinished leather on that back side, and the only part that'd be unfinished would be just that spot on the top of the D-ring. As far as the shape of the tooling goes, it's kind of an awkward shape. Take no mind on this. This was just some doodling, but where this folds over, I'm going to have the tooling come all the way down to that edge, or I might just put it under and fold it over and sew over whatever pattern I got. That way it's a perfect shape, you know. And then I'm going to put something on there. I'm not for sure what I'm going to tool in there for Nick yet. He said he likes the wilderness and he likes outdoorsy stuff and animals, or maybe something tribal. So I'm going to try to come up with something really sweet for him and put some time in on this. That part, Nick, is probably going to be a secret until you see the end video. I am going to put one strap around the bottom, and then that way you could use the belt attachment on a MOLLE strap, and then you still got one loop to go through another MOLLE strap, or just something to latch onto a part of your pack or something. And I'm also probably going to drill one hole at the bottom. That way if you want to put a lanyard or something in, you can. And then just have one real nice clean stitch run around the edge. But I'm going to rack my mind on what to tool on here, but this is just an update, Nick. I know this is just a short little video, brother, but it's something for you, and I'm going to make something real pretty to fit in that. Get this thing bedazzled up. So we'll be back on the next video when I probably got the leather cut and I'm into the sheath pretty good. That way it's kind of a surprise and you see what you get put on there. Okay, we've cut some of the leather now. Nick, there's a template there. This is the bottom side of the leather here. There's the top side, got a real nice clean piece. But to fold over strap ready, here's going to be the little platen. It's going to go on the skin side of the strap there for the fold over, and I'm going to take this, and what's going to happen is I'm going to have to do this sheath in a couple of parts because I've chosen to do it in kind of an awkward manner. But this thing's going to get wet formed, and I still got to stain it and do edges and burnish and all these weird little corners. So I'm going to focus on this top part first. I'm going to glue this down. I'm not going to use the normal Gorilla Glue that I usually use. Well, I might actually use Gorilla Glue, but I'm going to have to mark this and kind of get it ready for a stitch run and give myself enough room to where once I go to get everything glued down, and then I still got a little room to bring my sander down and true up these edges and flush everything up and clean up the edges and burnish it and everything before I fold it over to mark my holes. So I'm going to have to drill in some holes to keep these two pieces together. So these will be rounded up. So the stitch run to go around, 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 and around, you know, but where this folds over on the back side, I'm going to have to stitch so much of this and then fold it over and glue it down and drill the rest of the holes out and then finish my stitch run. That way this is one complete stitch run, if that makes sense. Once everything's over, fold it over, then on the back side I'll just use the little edging, not edging tool, but the stitch guide tool, and I'm going to put a decorative little mark here at the top that goes around to the corners. That way when it folds over, it's got that nice little mark for, I don't know, it's just decoration. Then what I'm going to do is I'm probably just going to put one big design on this thing, and then wherever this folds over and covers it, it's just going to be, you know, a little bit of lost art, but you know, all the work is there. You know that it's 100% folded over and the design is everywhere. Just makes it a little more custom, you know, makes something real nice for you. Got the welt, wherever it went, I got the welt marked in. I'm gonna have to glue this down, but my concern is that since I gotta wet form this thing a little bit, I gotta get all this section up here done and ready and get it glued after I do the tooling, and then I'm gonna have to get this whole part wet. That way when I fold it over, I can wet form it and then still have enough room to glue this down without damaging the corner of my tooling, and then I'm going to have to let that dry, and then I'm going to have to stain it. That way everything can be wet formed and it's that much more of a friction fit. Once it's folded over, I'm going to add a strap to it that goes all the way around and buckles in, and then I'll make the little belt attachment. But this is the video thus far, man. This is the first time I made a sheath like this. Nick was so kind to send me my own Laplander to, you know, make these templates off of, so that worked out really awesome, man. So I know when this gets to him, it's going to be a good snug fit. So that's the end of this video for now. I'm probably still going to work on it some, but Angie's sleeping and it's real late and I'm using every minute I got, so it's crunch time, folks. So I'll get a little bit more work and I'll show you where I'm at when I'm done with that. See y'all soon.